Chapter 41 Yan Zhenqing's Authentic Works. You are listening at NovelsThe. Yi Bufan ignored him and directly took down the two scrolls next to him. Boy, have you read too many fantasy novels? Do you think the wood of this scroll would be agarwood or something like that? Let me tell you, don't have any wishful thinking. I have already seen it. This is an ordinary wooden material. The two together are not worth dozens of dollars. Yi Bufan still ignored the chattering white mouse. He picked up the painting scroll on the left and pulled out the wooden scroll. Seeing his actions, even Yang Ziqian frowned. It was obvious that this young man wanted to find something from the scroll, but this was just ordinary wood, so what could he find? But at this moment, a scene that shocked everyone happened. Yi Bufan raised his hand and patted the wooden shaft lightly. The seemingly integrated piece of wood split into two halves with a snap in the middle, and the middle was actually hollowed out, revealing a circle of extremely neat scrolls. Oh my God, there is really something inside this scroll. The workmanship is so exquisite. It looks like a complete piece of wood, but I didn't expect it to be empty inside. How did this young man see it? Could it be said that he has clairvoyance? He actually knows that there is a universe inside the scroll. None of this is important. What matters is what the scroll is. If it is still a fake, it will be useless if found. Amidst the many discussions, everyone's eyes were focused on the scroll in Yi Bufan's hand. Yang Ziqian's eyes were shining and he said, "Young man, open it quickly and take a look." He has already felt that if it can be hidden so tightly, this calligraphy and painting must not be ordinary. Yi Bufan gently untied the ribbon on the scroll and slowly unfolded the scroll. Everyone's eyes were focused on this calligraphy and painting, and they found that what was written on it was still the famous saying in Zhuge Kongming's Book of Commandments: indifference leads to clear aspirations, tranquility leads to distance. In the lower right corner of the calligraphy and painting is written the family motto of Qingchen, followed by Yan Zhenqing's name seal. Judging from the content, this painting is exactly the same as the one that was just torn off, but the words on it are completely different. I can see that the structure of the calligraphy and painting on this calligraphy and painting is square and tight. The strokes are light horizontally and heavy vertically, and the strokes are strong, straight, broad and vigorous. Yang Ziqian stood beside him. He looked calm at first, but when he saw the handwriting on the painting clearly, "This chapter is not finished, please turn the page," immediately after that, he seemed to be a different person, stepped forward and said excitedly, "Authentic work, this is actually Yan Zhenqing's original work, it is really rare." White Mouse was completely dumbfounded. He never thought that Yan Zhenqing's real work was really hidden in this painting. Generally speaking, when the scroll comes into his hand, he will carefully check it, including the layers and wooden scrolls. He is afraid of missing the treasure from his hands, but I never expected that the wood of this scroll would be vacuum. At this time, a spectator next to him asked, "Master Yang, how much is this painting worth?" After staring at the calligraphy for a long time, Yang Ziqian reluctantly looked away and said, "At an auction in Hong Kong not long ago, an authentic work by Yan Zhenqing was auctioned, and it was sold before it was even bigger than this calligraphy and painting. 300,000. Based on the quality of this calligraphy and painting, I think it should be at least 5 million. Oh my God, is just one painting so valuable? Young man, you bought it for 5,000 yuan, and you can sell it for 5 million yuan in a blink of an eye. Isn't this very profitable? What do you know? Generally, everyone's calligraphy and paintings are sold by the foot. Yan Zhenqing's original calligraphy is definitely worth the price." Amid the commotion around him, Yang Ziqian said to Yi Fan, "Young man, to be honest, I personally like Yan Zhenqing's calligraphy and paintings the most. Can you sell them to me for free? The price is easy to talk about, I will never let you suffer a loss. 6 million, what do you think?" Yi Bufan thought about it and realized that the price was indeed quite fair. The most important thing was that what he wanted was a magic weapon and he didn't care at all about antiques, calligraphy and paintings. Thinking of this, he said, "Okay, I will sell it to Mr. Yang. Little brother, thank you. If you have any questions about antiques from now on, you can come to me. Yang is obligated." With excitement on his face, Yang Ziqian took out his checkbook from his pocket, wrote a check for 6 million and handed it to Yi Bufan, and then carefully put away the original volume of Yan Zhenqing's handwriting. White Mouse was dumbfounded. He gave someone 5,000 yuan for calligraphy and painting that was obviously worth 6 million yuan. Looking at the check in Yi Bufan's hand, he felt so distressed that he could bleed. Boss Bai, have you seen enough? Is it time for our bet to come to an end? Yang Ziqian said, Boss Bai, you lost this bet, please pay your little brother quickly. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Seeing that a painting worth 6 million yuan was lost, and now he has to give out 200,000 yuan in gambling money to others, this is like cutting flesh from a white mouse. However, Yang Ziqian is a notary public, so he has no idea of denying it, otherwise he will not be able to survive in the antique world in the future. In desperation, he could only take out his mobile phone and transfer 200,000 cash to Yi Bufan. After the transfer was completed, Yang Ziqian said, Little brother, can you tell me how you saw that there is something else in the wooden axis, that this is something he has never thought about? With his knowledge in antiques, he has not seen any flaws. He doesn't know how Yi Bufan discovered it. Yi Bufan smiled and said, It's nothing, it just happened. Yang Ziqian shook his head slightly. He really couldn't find any other reason for this kind of thing except that it was a coincidence. He took out another business card and handed it to Yi Bufan and said, Little brother, I can see that you are very knowledgeable in antiques. If you have any good things in the future, please contact me directly. Okay. Yi Bufan had a good impression of Yang Ziqian and stuffed the business card into his pocket. After that, he did not stop at this antique shop and continued to look for the magic weapon after going out. After everyone left, 3 tall and strong men came in from the door. The big black man at the head said to the white mouse, Brother, what should we do? We can't just watch this kid steal so much money from us. His name is Hype, and he and White Mouse are all in the same group. On weekdays, these people dig graves, rob and touch porcelain. If Yang Ziqian hadn't been here just now, they would never have let Yi Bufan walk out so easily. The white mouse gritted his teeth and said, Of course I won't let it go. The person who can take advantage of our brothers hasn't been born yet. Hype said, What should we do, brother? How about we brothers go kill that kid and get the money back? The white mouse said, How many times have you told me that killing is a bad idea, and it might put our brothers in trouble? Another guy with a crew cut next to him said, Brother, what do you think we should do? The white mouse rolled his eyes and said, Let's outsmart him first. You go find him to try and squeeze all the money out of his hands. If that doesn't work, try harder. Chapter 42 Pottery Figurines of the Han Dynasty. You are listening at NovelsThe. I know, boss. After He Pai finished speaking, he reached out and took out a broken vase from under the counter. This was the thing they used to touch porcelain. Are you a fucking pig brain? White Mouse slapped He Pai on the back of his neck. Even if this thing is intact, it's worth hundreds of thousands. How much can you get by taking it out? Can you blackmail it? Come for 6 million, Hype said sarcastically. Then what should I bring? The white mouse said, Didn't you collect a pottery figurine a few days ago? Take it with you. Although it cost 30 yuan, most people can't see its value. It's just right for touching porcelain. I know, boss. Hype agreed, opened the back door of the shop, and took out a pottery figurine about 40 centimeters high, different from the common pottery figurines on the market. This pottery figurine looks a bit special. Although it is tattered, it can still be vaguely seen that it is a young scribe, holding a fan in his left hand and wearing a black ring. The white mouse glanced at the pottery figurines and said, If this thing was intact, it could still be sold for a few dollars, but it's a pity that it's in tatters. It's just right for touching porcelain. You can take it with you. Hype put the pottery figurine into a cardboard box, and then the 3 of them took it out the door. Yi Bufan continued to wander around the antique street, looking for the magic weapon he wanted. He searched from store to store, so he was not very fast, and he was soon chased by Hype and the others. Hype said to Xiaoping 2 and the other 2, Old rules, I bump him from behind, and you bump from the front. Don't worry, second brother, we have been doing this job for so many years, we can't make mistakes. Besides, he is just a young boy. Xiao Pingtu agreed, and the three soldiers divided into two groups. Hype quietly followed Yi Bufan and found a suitable opportunity to suddenly bump into him. He is 1.9 meters tall and weighs 200 kilograms. According to previous routines, as long as he bumps into him like this, the opponent will definitely lose its center of gravity and hit the two cooperating people on the opposite side. At this time, Xiao Pingtu threw the cardboard box in his hand on the ground, causing the pottery figurines to break, and then began to extort money. In Hype's opinion, it wouldn't be difficult to hit porcelain this time. But when he bumped into Yi Bufan's back, he felt as if he had hit a big mountain. The opponent did not lose his center of gravity as expected, or even remain motionless. On the contrary, he bounced back, and the small one in front. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. According to the plan in advance, the two men with flat heads had already dropped the cardboard box in their hands to the ground when Hype knocked out. There was a crash inside and the pottery figurines shattered. They did all this according to the plan, but it was a pity that Yi Bufan did not cooperate and stood there motionless, not touching the cardboard box in their hands at all. Now Xiao Pingtu and the two of you are embarrassed. They didn't touch you at all. You threw the carton on the ground. What the hell is this? But there was no turning back, and now they could only continue to follow the routine. Xiao Pingtu pointed at Yi Bufan and cursed, "Boy, are you blind? You actually broke the uncle's things. You have to pay for it today, otherwise you will never leave the treasure garden." Yi Bufan saw all this clearly and immediately understood that he had encountered someone. He looked at the little crew chief and said, "You have to be more professional when dealing with porcelain, okay? I didn't touch your carton at all. Isn't it a bit far-fetched to touch it?" "Yes, I saw it clearly just now. The young man didn't touch them at all. They threw the things on the ground themselves. It's obvious that this is a ploy to blackmail that young man. It's better to talk less. These people are all hooligans from Jubayuan. We can't afford to provoke them. This young man is going to be in trouble." At this time, Hype got up from the ground and shouted fiercely to the onlookers, "Get away from me. If you come so close, will you pay for anything if it breaks?" Seeing this fierceness, people stepped back one after another, and no one dared to speak casually. Now that Hype no longer hit it, he stepped forward and said to Yi Bufan, "Boy, you broke our things, how do you think we should pay for it?" Yi Bufan inadvertently glanced at the carton with his spiritual consciousness, his expression changed slightly, and then he said, "Then it depends on how much this thing is worth." Seeing that the other party had given up and was about to pay, a look of pride appeared on his dark face. He stretched out his hand to tear open the carton, pointed at the broken pottery figurines inside and said, "Let me tell you, these are newly unearthed pottery figurines from the Han Dynasty. They are precious. Very, now that you have made it look like this, you will have to pay at least 6 million, not even a cent less." Yi Bufan glanced at the pottery figurines inside, smiled coldly and said, "Are you going to miss 6 million? Shouldn't it be 6.2 million? How could he not see that these people were brought by white mice, obviously trying to blackmail him out of the money in his pocket? Hype said, "Since you are so righteous, then I will pay 6.2 million yuan. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page." Yi Bufan patted his pocket and said, "To tell you the truth, I have money, even more than 6.2 million. The key is whether you have the ability to take it." Unexpectedly, the other party was playing tricks on me, and the black man said with a ferocious face, "Boy, why don't you ask who our brothers are? In this treasure garden, no one dares to break our things without compensating for it." Xiao Pingtu followed up and said, "Did you hear that? Boy, 6.2 million, you can't get out even if it's 1 cent less." Yi Bufan said, "Then I want to see how you kept me from getting out." Seeing him provoking these gangsters one after another, everyone around him was sweating for him. You must know that He Pai and others are tall and powerful, no matter how you look at it, they are not something that the gentle Yi Bufan can handle. "I won't shed tears until I see the coffin. It seems I have to loosen your skin and bones first." As Xiao Pingtower said, he stepped forward and punched Yi Bufan in the face. He has made up his mind, 6.2 million is not a small amount, and he will get it even if he robs it today. At worst, the brothers will go out and hide for a while, but just as he punched out, he felt a strong attack on his stomach, as if he had been hit by a cannonball, and then flew backwards and hit the cardboard box with a crack. The little flathead struggled to get up, but there was a heartbreaking pain in his abdomen, as if his intestines had been kicked out. "Boy, how dare you fight back?" Hype's eyes flashed fiercely, and he pulled out a short knife from his waist and stabbed Yi Bufan hard. He had the same idea as Xiaoping too. He must get the 6.2 million today no matter what. Even if he doesn't do this business in the future, the money will be enough to last him a lifetime. Seeing these gangsters actually using knives, the timid people around them couldn't help but scream in surprise, but then a scene that shocked everyone appeared. Before they could see clearly what was going on, the short knife pierced Hype's palm, piercing it completely. Then Yi Bufan raised his foot and kicked Hype to the ground, falling together with Xiaoping too. "Ah!" Hype covered his injured palm and screamed like a slaughtered pig. The remaining gangster had just rushed halfway and was completely stunned when he saw the scene in front of him. Yi Bufan was not polite and kicked him to the ground as well. Looking at the three people lying on the ground, he sneered and said, "How about it? Do you still want my money?" Chapter 43 An Unexpected Surprise. You are listening at NovelsThe. The three Hype people have been hanging out on this street for many years. They are typical local gangsters. Naturally they know the principle of not taking the immediate loss, and they all shouted, "No more, no more, we don't want this money." Yi Bufan said, "Are you sure you don't want it? 6.2 million is a lot of money, it will be enough for you to last a lifetime." Hype said, "Little brother, we know we were wrong. Please let us go this time. We will never dare to do it again in the future." Yi Bufan looked at the smashed pottery figurines and asked, "To be honest, how much did you pay for this thing?" Hype knew that he had met a ruthless person today, so he could only tell the truth, 30 yuan. 30 yuan, right? Then I'll buy it and give you 100 yuan, so you don't have to look for it. As he spoke, Yi Bufan took out $100 bill and slapped it on his face, then turned and walked towards the pile of broken pottery figurines. Everyone looked confused, including Hei Pai, who didn't know what Yi Bufan wanted with this pile of junk. Under the gaze of passers-by, Yi Bufan picked through the cartons and then took out a black ring, which was exactly the one the pottery figurine was wearing on his hand. Although the pottery figurine is only 40 centimeters in size, this ring is no different from an ordinary ring. It just looks dark and has no decorations or patterns. If you throw it at a roadside stall, you will probably lose 2 yuan. Want? What does this young man mean? What are you doing looking for such a tattered ring? Who knows, this ring doesn't look like a valuable thing. I don't want it even if it's 10 yuan. The three black men looked at me and I looked at you. They all looked confused. They didn't know what this young man was going to do. Little did they know that Yi Bufan was filled with ecstasy at this moment. He had already seen it when he looked through the carton. What the pottery figurine wears on his hand is not an ordinary ring, but a rare magic weapon, a storage ring. This is a complete surprise. As for how this storage ring was put on the pottery figurine's hand, these are not important. What is important is that he now has this magic weapon. Although this thing is not offensive in any way, it is definitely a high-quality magic weapon. With it, you don't need to carry anything with you, just put it in the ring. He had seen the properties and usage of the storage ring from the inheritance of ancient medicine, and thought it was just a legendary thing, but he did not expect to encounter it today. Just as he was about to give the ring, "This chapter is not finished, please turn the page." When he was putting it away, someone suddenly called out, "This little layman, can you show me the ring to Pindao?" Yi Bufan turned around and saw an old Taoist walking over. This old Taoist was about 50 or 60 years old. He was wearing a blue Taoist robe and carrying a long sword on his back. He had an air of immortality. However, Yi Bufan frowned after seeing him. Although this old Taoist looked like a human being, he had an evil aura all over his body. At first glance, he was not a righteous monk. However, the veteran's ability is real. Not only does his body have strong mana fluctuations, but his cultivation has reached the level before he established the foundation. This was the first martial artist he met after receiving the inheritance. It seemed that besides himself, there were other martial artists in this world. At this moment, the old Taoist's eyes were shining, staring at the ring, his eyes full of greed. It was obvious that he also saw the extraordinary nature of this ring. Since Bufan has determined that the other party is not a good bird, he will naturally not hand over the treasure he got. He said, "I'm sorry, I don't have the habit of showing things to others." After saying that, he put the ring directly on his hand. The old Taoist obviously didn't want to give up, and said again, "Little layman, this ring is destined for the poor Taoist, why don't you sell it to me? The old Taoist will not let you suffer a loss, I am willing to bid 100,000. After the price was reported, everyone else was slightly shocked. This ring looked shady and worthless. Is this old man crazy? He was actually willing to take out 100,000. The hypey people were even more like this. They felt very unhappy in their hearts. They had just sold this pottery figurine for 100 yuan, but someone immediately gave them 100,000 yuan. Is this still going to let people live? The storage ring is a priceless treasure to Bufan, and of course he will not sell it casually. He said, "I also like this ring, and I won't sell it." A cold light flashed in the old Taoist's eyes, and he said again, 1 million, do you want to sell it? Now the people around were in an uproar again. Although this is an antique street, 1 million is definitely not a small number. Most of the antiques here cannot be sold for this price, let alone an ordinary-looking ring. The eyes of Hype and Xiaobo were gleaming, and 1 million ran out of their hands. At this moment, their intestines were filled with regret. If it wasn't for the other party's inability to offend him, they would have rushed forward and snatched the ring from their hands. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. What they didn't expect even more was that Bufan just shook his head slightly, without any sign of being moved, and turned around and walked out of the crowd. The old Taoist shouted from behind, unwilling to give up, "Little layman, 10 million. The old Taoist is willing to pay 10 million to buy this ring." Bufan said without looking back, "Don't say 10 million, I won't sell it even for 100 million. Oh my god, what kind of ring is this? Is it more valuable than a top-grade diamond ring? Impossible, how can a broken ring be worth so much money? I think the two of them are just acting here. Are you mentally ill? They've already left, so why don't they act for you? Besides, this ring doesn't belong to him at all, but was given to him by those guys in Hype." Hearing the number 10 million, He Pai almost lost his breath and even forgot about the pain in his hands. The most ridiculous thing is that he didn't get 6 million, but lost 10 million in compensation for such a valuable thing. When the old man saw Bufan insisting not to sell, a sinister light flashed in his eyes, and then he walked out of the antique street. Bufan walked around the antique street again and visited almost all the shops. He didn't find the magic weapon he wanted, so he could only leave here disappointed. After leaving the antique street, he found a deserted place and took off the storage ring. This was an ownerless thing, and it was very convenient to use. He directly made a mark on it with his spiritual consciousness, and it would be his own from now on. This is a treasure left over from the past. I wonder if there is anything good in it. Bufan penetrated his consciousness into the storage ring, only to find that it was empty and there was nothing in it. Although I was a little disappointed, I was relieved afterwards. This storage ring is a treasure in itself. With its capacity of hundreds of square meters, it is a rare and top-quality storage ring. With a thought in his mind, all the cinnabar yellow label paper and other things he was holding in his hand disappeared, and were all transferred into the storage ring. There is an independent three-dimensional space inside this ring, and everything except living things can be stored. Moreover, the space inside the ring is different from the space outside. There is no concept of time. Things will be as they are put in, and you will never have to worry about the expiration of the product. At this moment, a cold voice suddenly came from the side, "Boy, hand over the treasure quickly, and I can spare your life." Chapter 44, Master of Magic. You are listening at NovelsThe. Bufan looked back and saw that the old man he met in the antique street was standing behind him. It seems that I was so excited about getting the storage ring just now that I didn't notice that this veteran was following me. At this time, the old Taoist looked at the ring on his hand with bright eyes, and shouted excitedly, "Mustard seed Sumru, it can accommodate hundreds of things, it is indeed a good thing. Give it to Master Dao quickly, and I can spare your life." Yi Bufan said coldly, "Get out of here quickly, and I can spare your life." The old Taoist said with a sinister look, "Boy, do you know who you are talking to? If you offend me, not only will you die without a burial place, but your soul will be scattered and you will never be reincarnated. If you hand over this ring, Taoist master will benefit from you." The old Taoist actually still had some concerns in his heart. Since the young man in front of him could use mustard seed Sumru's magic, he was definitely not an ordinary person. Moreover, his calm expression prevented him from seeing through the truth, so he was not in a hurry to take action and wanted to find out the details of the other party. Yi Bufan frowned. "It's too annoying. Are you going to rob it or not? If not, I can leave. Since you want to die, Master Tao will send you on your way." For the sake of the treasure in front of him, the old Taoist couldn't care less and slapped it with his palm. If it were before foundation building, Yi Bufan would still have looked at the old Taoist, but it was different now. The two of them were completely different in terms of martial arts cultivation. He didn't dodge at all, and slapped the old Taoist's hand out. The two palms touched each other, and with a bang, the old man suddenly flew back more than 10 meters like a kite with its string broken, fell to the ground with a plop, and then spat out a large mouthful of blood. He got up from the ground and looked at Yi Bufan in shock. He never expected that the young man in front of him had such a high level of cultivation that he could suffer internal injuries and vomit blood with just one move. "Are you actually a Xian-level warrior?" Yi Bufan obtained the martial arts inheritance from the ancient medical sect. He is not clear about the current level of warriors and does not understand the meaning of this Xian-level warrior, he said. "Damn Nyobi, you still want to imitate others and become a robber with such little skills. Boy, don't think that reaching the Xian level is a big deal. The Taoist master can kill you just as well." The old Taoist wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, then turned his hands over, and a series of talismans appeared in his palms. "This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Die to me." The old Taoist shouted loudly, and the talismans suddenly flew into the air as if they were spiritual, and connected into a long dragon. Then they suddenly ignited flames and turned into a fire dragon and rushed towards Yi Bufan. After the fire dragon was sent out, the old man looked proud. These were the talismans he had carefully refined. Although the flames of the fire dragon were not as good as the innate fire, they were much more powerful than ordinary flames. Even though the opponent is a Xian-level warrior, he can never block his own magical attack. Looking at the roaring fire dragon, a sneer appeared at the corner of Yi Bufan's mouth. He had obtained the inheritance of ancient medicine, his mental power was extremely strong, and his skills in magic were far higher than martial arts. "The pearl of a grain of rice dares to shine." Facing the charging fire dragon, he waved his hand gently. The fire dragon not only stopped attacking immediately, but turned around and rushed towards Lao Dao. "Seal in the void, control the universe, you are actually a master of magic." The old Taoist was extremely shocked, but at this moment the fire dragon had already rushed in front of him, and he quickly tried his best to resist it. It's a pity that the fire dragon is very powerful. He doesn't have the magic power as powerful as Yi Bufan. In the blink of an eye, he was surrounded by the fire dragon, and his eyebrows and hair were burned. The old Taoist couldn't care anymore. One after another talismans flew out from his palms. It took a lot of effort to extinguish the flames on his body. He didn't dare to make any more stops and ran away as fast as he could. He was definitely not someone he could afford to offend such a young Xian-level warrior and a magic master. Yi Bufan was in a good mood after getting the storage ring, and ignored the old man. He turned and left Treasure Garden and walked towards the hotel he rented. The old man ran away, but what he said just now aroused his curiosity. What is a Xian-level warrior? What is a magic master? How many warriors and practitioners are there in this world, and how are the levels divided? What level is this veteran at? However, he is surrounded by ordinary people now, so these questions can only be kept in his stomach for now, and he will figure them out later when he has the opportunity. After returning to the hotel, Yi Bufan thought, and cinnabar, yellow paper and other tools for drawing symbols appeared on the table. he picked up the brush and began to draw talismans on the yellow paper. The talisman uses its own magic power to activate the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, and stores the energy in the form of talismans on yellow paper in advance, it can be said. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Talisman is a kind of advance reserve of energy, which can be thrown out at a critical moment. Although it was his first time to draw a talisman, he had inherited the ancient medical tradition and had profound skills, so it was not difficult to draw a talisman. In just over an hour, he drew 20 exorcism talismans, 20 fire talismans, and 25 thunder talismans. He also drew some scattered other talismans and put them all into the storage ring. There's no harm in preparing a little more of these things, so you'll be prepared for critical moments. For example, if you encounter those 5 thunder talismans, even if you encounter a warrior with a higher level of cultivation than him, if you throw them all out, the opponent will be in a hurry and give you a chance to escape. As soon as he finished doing this, the cell phone next to him rang. It was his good brother Han Shuai calling. After the call was connected, Han Shuai's voice came immediately. Third brother, at 8 o'clock tonight at Weiyang bar in Dongqing district, you must not be late. It is a matter of life for me, so you must not be late. Yi Bufan said, don't worry, although you are not as handsome as me, but with my brother here, I will definitely be able to help you win a beautiful woman. As an inheritor, he definitely has this confidence. Who gave you the courage to even say such a thing? Don't you know that I am the person in charge of appearance in our dormitory? Han Shuai said, I won't say any more. I have to call Yuding. See you in the evening. After Han Shuai finished speaking, he hung up the phone. As soon as Yi Bufan put his phone on the table, the phone rang again. He glanced at the caller ID. This time it was Mahidong, the director of Jiangnan Hospital. Pressing the answer button, he said, Dean Ma, what can I do? Dr. Yi, I have a cousin who is sick. He is very seriously ill. I would like to ask you to treat him. Do you have time? Ma Haidong is the director of Jiangnan Hospital. He has the best medical resources in Jiangnan City. Even he can't treat him. It can be seen that the other party must have a difficult and complicated disease. This suddenly arouses Yi Bufan's interest. He said, okay, I just have time in the afternoon. That's great, I'll go pick you up now. After asking for Yi Bufan's location, Ma Haidong hung up the phone and drove a black Audi A6 to the door of the hotel. Half an hour later, after picking up Yi Bufan, the two of them rushed towards Nanqing in Jiangnan City. Chapter 45, Obsessed. You are listening at NovelsThe. In the car, Yi Bufan asked, Dean Ma, what's the condition of the patient? Ma Haidong said, Dr. Yi, have you heard of the Jiangnan Tang family? Yi Bufan shook his head. He was just an ordinary student before and didn't know much about Jiangnan's upper-class society. Ma Haidong said again, do you know about the He family? Jiangnan is not a big place. As the director of Jiangnan Hospital, he had long heard about Yi Bufan's treatment of He Chongqing. Yi Bufan nodded, of course I know this. Ma Haidong said, the Tang family is not inferior to the He family in terms of strength and status. The difference is that Mr. He of the He family relies on his qualifications and status in China, while the Tang family relies on strength. The Tang family is a martial arts family, and every core member of the family practices martial arts. Mr. Tang is an expert. Although he is already in his 80s, he is extremely strong. However, he suddenly fell ill 3 days ago for unknown reasons. Mr. Tang is a cousin of mine. I have introduced him to many well-known experts in the past 3 days, but to no avail, so I asked Dr. Yi to take action today. Yi Bufan nodded and didn't ask any other questions. As for the condition, he could diagnose it most accurately after seeing it himself. Time was running out, and Ma Haidong drove the Audi to a manor in the suburbs. This manor is built at the foot of a hill, with a stream in front of it, and it looks particularly unique. Ma Haidong said hello to the bodyguard at the door, then drove directly into the manor and parked in front of a 3-story building. This is the private hospital of the Tang family. After getting off the car, he took Yi Bufan to the ward on the 2nd floor. After entering the door, I saw an old man with white hair and beard lying on the hospital bed. Next to him, a middle-aged man in a white coat was doing an examination. Yi Bufan smiled slightly. What a coincidence. This person was Gao Haisheng, the cardiopulmonary expert he had met at his house. He didn't expect to meet again so soon. When Ma Haidong walked in, a middle-aged man in his 40s came up to him. He was Tang Feng, the youngest son of Mr. Tang. Yi Bufan glanced at him and immediately saw clearly the opponent's cultivation level. As expected of a martial arts family, he had already reached the peak state of the qi refining stage. Cousin, you are here. Tang Feng greeted Ma Haidong politely. As for Yi Bufan next to him, he thought he was the driver who had brought him here and ignored him. Ma Haidong said, Cousin, how is the old man's condition? This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. The situation is very bad. I just vomited blood. Tang Feng said solemnly, this is the expert I invited to treat the old man. I don't know if there can be something done this time. Ma Haidong said, Cousin, don't worry, this time I specially invited Dr. Yi to treat the old man. Dr. Yi has profound knowledge in traditional Chinese medicine and will definitely be able to cure the old man. Dr. Yi, or Chinese medicine. Tang Feng looked at Yi Bufan with confusion. If it weren't for the old man's condition, he would have thought his cousin was joking. The young man of about 20 years old is actually a Chinese medicine practitioner. When did Chinese medicine practitioners become so young? Aren't the average old Chinese medicine doctors with big eyebrows and beards? Seeing his doubts, Ma Haidong quickly explained, Cousin, you must not underestimate Dr. Yi. Although he is young, his medical skills are definitely the best. Mr. He of the He family fell ill a few days ago and it was Dr. Yi who healed with one hand. Being from a large family in Jiangnan, Tang Feng naturally knew about the He family and also knew that Mr. He had been ill a few days ago. However, he did not expect that the young man in front of him would be the one who cured He Changqing. After knowing this, Tang Feng's attitude immediately became much more polite. Dr. Yi, you are really young and promising. I will trouble you this time. At this time, Gao Haisheng over there had finished the inspection and came over with a stack of inspection materials, but he saw Yi Bufan at a glance. This time he came to Jiangnan from the imperial capital. He originally thought he could make a lot of money, but he didn't expect to get a penny. Instead, he gambled out 1 million. Because of this, he did not return to the imperial capital immediately. He wanted to make a fortune in Jiangnan city before leaving. At this time, he happened to receive an invitation from the Tang family and came to treat Mr. Tang Tianyi. Tang Feng asked, Dr. Gao, how is my father's condition? Gao Haisheng ignored Yi Bufan and said directly, the old man's condition is very bad. According to the X-ray examination just now, there are shadows in the lungs and liver. It can be diagnosed as late-stage cancer, and surgery must be performed immediately. Tang Feng did not express his opinion on his diagnosis, but turned to look at Yi Bufan. Dr. Yi, please show me to my father. Mr. Tang, I don't think this is necessary. This diagnosis is 100% accurate. The instruments I use are the most advanced in the world, and there will be no problems with the diagnosis. The old man now has terminal cancer and must undergo surgery immediately. For the treatment of this malignant tumor, Western medicine is better than traditional Chinese medicine. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Enter a lot. Last time at the He family, he not only lost face but also lost 1 million, which made him extremely unhappy when he saw Yi Bufan, and he was very confident in this diagnosis. Various diagnoses showed that Mr. Tang had terminal cancer, so he wanted to show off his medical skills and regain some of the lost face. Seeing his thoughts, Yi Bufan smiled slightly. Dr. Gao, let's not talk about whether Western medicine is better than Chinese medicine in treating malignant tumors, let's just say that your diagnosis is completely wrong. Mr. Tang does not have cancer, nor is he in a late stage. Seeing Yi Bufan questioning his diagnosis, Gao Haisheng immediately shouted, this is absolutely impossible. I use the most advanced medical equipment in the world. The test results are absolutely the most scientific and there will be no mistakes. Yi Bufan said jokingly, since Dr. Gao is so confident, do you dare to make another bet? I don't bet, science is rigorous, why should I bet? Thinking that he had just lost 1 million, Gao Haisheng was immediately frightened. As a medical expert in the imperial capital, he usually earned a lot of money, but he also spent a lot. All his savings added up to only about 2 million, now that 1 million has been lost, the remaining 1 million cannot be lost no matter what, Yi Bufan said, since you don't even have the courage to bet, don't be so confident. Western medicine is just a medical skill. It is neither more advanced than Chinese medicine nor can it completely represent science. Gao Haixing hesitated for a moment, but finally did not dare to speak. For some reason, he felt a deep fear of the young man in front of him. Seeing that Yi Bufan overwhelmed Gao Haixing in terms of momentum, Tang Feng asked, Dr. Yi, what disease do you think my father has? Yi Bufan said calmly, the old man is not sick, but suffered internal injuries due to being possessed. You're just kidding. You're obsessed with it. You've read too many martial arts novels. Gao Haixing turned around and said to Tang Feng, Mr. Tang, you must not believe him. This is complete nonsense and not scientific at all. What I didn't expect was that Tang Feng looked at Yi Bufan with excitement at this time. Dr. Yi, you are a miracle doctor. My father has indeed gone crazy during his cultivation. Do you have any way to cure it? Gao Haixing suddenly looked confused. Where is this going? He was clearly suffering from terminal cancer, but why did he become obsessed? Are these two people crazy? Chapter 46, Luck and Success. You are listening at NovelsThe. Of course I can. I'm afraid I'm the only one in the world who can heal Mr. Tang. Yi Bufan's tone sounded crazy, but it was the truth. Only people like him who had reached a certain level of martial arts could heal internal injuries like this caused by obsession. Yi Bufan, please stop pretending to be a ghost, okay? Any obsession is completely deceptive. This is late-stage cancer. You will delay the patient's treatment. Gao Haixing said to Tang Feng, Mr. Tang, you must not be deceived by this liar. The diagnosis I made is the most scientific. Mr. Tang has terminal cancer. Yi Bufan glanced at him and said, have you read Mr. Tang's diagnosis? Of course I've seen it. Not only have I seen the diagnosis I made today, but I've also seen the results of previous examinations. Yi Bufan asked, tell me, when did Mr. Tang get cancer? Was it 3 days ago? Gao Haixing said, yes, Mr. Tang was diagnosed with cancer 3 days ago. He was in good health before. That's it. What kind of cancer have you seen that can reach the advanced stage from the early stage in 3 days and cover the entire internal organs? This. Gao Haixing was completely dumbfounded. This had indeed never happened before. Even lung cancer, which develops at the fastest speed, could not complete the transformation from intermediate to advanced stage in just a few days. However, the X-ray shows clearly that the patient does have a large number of tumor shadows on the chest. This cannot be denied. Yi Bufan said, it is not the tumor that causes those shadows, but the true energy that travels through the internal organs after going crazy, causing serious internal injuries. But your so-called high technology cannot see clearly, so it is misdiagnosed as late-stage cancer. That's right, Dr. Yi. What you said is so right. Before Gao Haixing could speak this time, Tang Feng excitedly took Yi Bufan's hand. Dr. Yi, you didn't even check for a pulse, but my father's condition was clearly explained. He is really a miracle doctor. Yi Bufan said, traditional Chinese medicine talks about looking, hearing, asking, and understanding. I have already seen the old man's condition clearly. If I guessed correctly, 3 days ago, the old man was eager to attack the next level, and because of his eagerness for success, he went crazy. That's right, my father has been practicing all his life. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. But in the end, he was stuck in the realm of Huangjie Dzogchen and was unable to enter the Xuanjie. The old man also couldn't control his emotions for a while, so he forced himself to break through the barrier, which eventually led to him going crazy and suffering serious internal injuries. At this time, Tang Feng was already admiring Yi Bufan. Yi Bufan said in surprise, what's the use of seeking Western medicine for internal injuries caused by this kind of practice? Tang Feng sighed and said, I can't help it. There are only a few warriors nowadays, and there are even fewer doctors who can treat their internal injuries. After my father was injured, he couldn't find a suitable doctor. Seeing that he was dying, I really had no choice but to take the risk. Yi Bufan nodded. That was indeed the case. Chao Xinghua was probably helpless to do anything about such an obsessive internal injury. Hearing the conversation between the two, Gao Haixing was dumbfounded as he watched. This was far beyond his knowledge. Tang Feng said eagerly, Dr. Yi, please check on my father quickly. He will vomit blood every hour now, and it is almost time to vomit blood next time. If this continues, the old man's body won't be able to bear it. Don't worry, I'll take a look and then talk. Yi Bufan said as he came to the bedside and put his hand on Tang Tiany's pulse. Although I had almost seen the old man's condition through my spiritual consciousness just now, I still felt the pulse more accurately. Tang Feng asked nervously, Dr. Yi, how is my father's condition? Yi Bufan frowned and said, the situation is more complicated than I thought. Internal injuries can be easily treated, and the injured meridians can also be recovered. It's just that his internal organs are now filled with the violent Qinqi after failing to pass the level. If he can't channel this Qinqi cleanly, even if he is treated, he will still be a cripple and will never be able to participate in martial arts again. Tang Feng said anxiously, Dr. Yi, can you think of a way? My father has been obsessed with martial arts all his life. If he can't practice martial arts, he will probably die of depression. There is one way, and that is to let him pass the test again. As long as his cultivation level is improved, the chaotic Qinqi will naturally be cleaned up, and there will be no future troubles. Tang Feng said with a bitter face, Dr. Yi, my father has been stagnant at the peak of the Huang level for more than 10 years. If it were so easy to break through, my father would have broken through to the Xian level long ago. How could he go crazy? This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. I can help him with this. Yi Bufan first fought with the old Taoist, and now he checked with Tang Tiany, and he had a basic concept of the Huangjie and Xuanjie of warriors. The Huang level warrior is equivalent to the Qi refining stage of his cultivation, and the Xian level warrior is equivalent to the foundation building stage. What Tang Tiany needs to break through now is the bottleneck of the Qi refining stage, which is equivalent to him completing the foundation building at that time. It's just that what he practices is chaos art, which is several levels higher than the martial arts techniques on earth, and his true energy is also pure, with his help at his side, and the fact that he still had 2 foundation establishment pills left before, it would not be difficult to help Mr. Tang break through to become a Xian-level warrior. Really? Dr. Yi, can you really help my father break through? If you can do it, you will be a great benefactor to our Tang family. No wonder he was excited. The martial arts family also has levels. If it can help Tang Tiany break through and become a Xian-level warrior, then the Tang family will also rise with the tide, and it will be different from what it is now. Yi Bufan said, try it. I am 90% sure that I can do it. Even if it fails, I can save the old man's life. The situation will not be worse than the current situation. After he finished speaking, he took out a foundation establishment pill and stuffed it into Tang Tiany's mouth. Gao Haixing next to him frowned as he looked at it. It was just such a black pill. Something to heal something. Yi Bufan didn't care what others were thinking. He took out the silver needle from his pocket and inserted 3 silver needles into the large acupoint on Tang Tiany's chest. The old man who had been unconscious immediately opened his eyes and regained consciousness. Don't ask anything now. Just sit cross-legged and follow my instructions to complete the test. Yi Bufan helped Tang Tiany up and asked him to sit cross-legged on the bed, then stretched out his right hand and pressed it against his Mingmen point, slowly injecting chaos qi. Chaos qi originally had the effect of nourishing meridians. After entering Tang Tiany's dantian, it helped him repair the injuries caused by his obsession. At this time, the effect of the foundation establishment pill began to come into play, and the true energy in the dantian became more and more pure, slowly moving towards the meridians under the guidance of Yi Bufan. Tang Tiany had been practicing all his life, so he naturally knew that an expert was helping him repair his injuries and improve his skills. He stopped thinking about it at the moment, calmly concentrated on it, and started to circulate his qi in accordance with Yi Bufan's guidance. Chapter 47 Warrior Level. You are listening at NovelsThe. Yi Bufan did not rush to lead Tang Tianyi to attack the bottleneck of the Huangjia, but slowly worked in his body to repair the previous injuries. When the injured meridians were almost repaired, the effectiveness of the Foundation Establishment pill had reached its peak, and the newly repaired Dantian was now filled with pure qi. Seeing that the time was almost up, Yi Bufan directed his true energy and launched the final impact towards the bottleneck. The Foundation Building Pill is a pill used by cultivators. It not only increases the total amount of Tang Tianyi's true energy, but also increases the purity of the true energy. He found that after starting to pass the level this time, he was very strong all the way. The level that he could not pass in the past was now passed in one go, as if there was no difficulty at all. Do you think I'm really going to succeed this time? Tang Tianyi felt excited, and at this moment a voice sounded in his ear, calm down, do you still want to go crazy? That he was so frightened that he trembled all over. He quickly gathered his mind, focused all his attention on the rushing infuriating energy, and launched an attack on the next level. A few minutes later, there was a small clicking sound in his mind, and then the Zhenqing in his body seemed to explode, countless times stronger than before. The aura in his body suddenly rose, and every cell was filled with powerful power, as if he could blow up the earth with one punch. At the same time, the violent Zhenqing accumulated in the internal organs was also completely cleaned by the improved Zhenqing, leaving no trace of hidden diseases. Breakthrough. I finally broke through. Tang Tianyi was so excited that he wanted to cry. Originally, he had been trying hard all his life but could not break through. He thought that there was no hope in this life. He did not expect that he would suddenly meet an expert, and with the help of an expert, he could break through to the Xian level so easily. After the excitement, the old man jumped up from the bed and knelt down in front of the master with a plop. Senior, Tang Tianyi thanks you for your life-saving grace. From now on, you will be our Tang family's great benefactor. Everyone in our Tang family will look up to you. Seeing that his father was kneeling down, Tang Feng did not dare to hesitate at all and knelt down behind him. At this moment, he didn't have any grievances in his heart. On the contrary, he was extremely excited. His father had entered the ranks of Xian-level warriors. From now on, their Tang family's status would rise, and they would definitely be able to take a step further. If I can make Dr. Yi in front of me happy, I will have to help improve my cultivation one day. This chapter is not finished. Please turn the page. That is simply a blessing from heaven, something that many people cannot ask for in their lifetime. You must know that the breakthrough from a Huang-level warrior to a Xian-level warrior is a watershed, otherwise my father would not be unable to break through throughout his life. Now that there is such a master in front of him, he must not miss this God-given opportunity. Chinese medicine teaches that the master is a teacher, while martial arts teaches that the strong are respected. Although Yi Bufan is only about 20 years old, he has the ability to respect him, so he knelt down willingly and with full respect in his heart. Okay, everyone, get up. Yi Bufan just waved his hand, and an invisible force lifted the father and son up. Tang Tianyi raised his head, and when he saw the master clearly, he was surprised. He didn't expect that the other person was just a young man in his 20s. However, he did not feel any loss in his heart. On the contrary, he was even more happy. With such a high level of cultivation at such an age, the achievements in the future will be limitless, and there will definitely be a powerful sect behind him. This is definitely because God has allowed the Tang family to meet a noble person. Gao Haixing had been standing nearby, seeing that Tang Tianyi, who was still dying just now, had become more alive and energetic at this moment. He was completely convinced and didn't even think of doing another checkup. At this moment, he was completely impressed by Yi Bufan's medical skills. He stepped forward and said, I was not convinced by traditional Chinese medicine before, thinking it was just a scam, but after seeing Dr. Ye's medical skills, I was completely convinced. I used to have little knowledge and was just a ridiculous frog in a well. Now I formally apologize to you and Chinese medicine practitioners. I'm sorry. After speaking, he bowed deeply, stood up, and left the Tang family with his assistant. After they left, Tang Feng respectfully handed over a check worth tens of millions. Dr. Yi, this is your consultation fee. Please accept it for your small kindness. Yi Bufan reached out to take the check and put it into his pocket without even looking at it. He said to Tang Tianyi, "Mr. Tang, there is something I want to know from you. My benefactor, please tell me. As long as my old man knows, he must know everything." In the past, Tang Tianyi was definitely a powerful figure in Jiangnan City, and the whole Jiangnan City would be shaken if he coughed, but now he was as respectful as a primary school student, without any pretense of a boss. "This chapter is not finished, please turn the page." Son, Yi Bufan said, "Mr. Tang, I am just a doctor, not a warrior, so I don't know much about the situation of Chinese warriors today. Can you introduce it to me?" "Of course you can, what do you want to know?" Yi Bufan said, "Tell me first how the levels of warriors are divided." Tang Tianyi said, "Chinese warriors are generally divided into 4 levels, namely Heaven and Earth Xianhuang, and each major level is subdivided into 4 realms, early stage, middle stage, late stage and Dzogchen." Yi Bufan asked, "Are there any more powerful warriors above the Heaven level?" Tang Tianyi said, "Nowadays, Chinese martial arts are in decline, and the sect leaders of many major sects are only at the Xian level. Even Earth-level warriors can become the Grand Masters of a sect, Heaven-level warriors are even rarer, and every one of them is a godlike existence in today's martial arts world. As for Heaven-level and above, there are saints and legends, such as the former Wudang originator Zhang Sanfeng, who is considered a saint. It's a pity that today, the saint is just a legend and has not been born for a long time." Yi Bufan nodded and asked, "Are there many warriors nowadays? What level of cultivation is someone like Mr. Tang?" Tang Tianyi said, "Martial arts are in decline today, and most young people are learning things like Taekwondo and Sanda. Don't you know that these are just minor skills and cannot even enter the threshold of a martial artist? Because of this, there are not many people who can step into the threshold of Huang-level warriors, let alone the later stages and Dzogchen. My Tang family is known as a martial arts family, but in my generation, Feng'er and I are the ones with the highest cultivation level, and we are only Huang-level Dzogchen. If we hadn't met my benefactor today, I might not be able to enter the ranks of Xian-level warriors in this life." As for Jiangnan City, only Jia Baichuan, the president of the Martial Arts Association, has reached the mid-level Xian level and can be said to be the number 1 master. The others are not even as good as me. After listening to Tang Tianyi's introduction, Yi Bufan felt much more at ease. He was now in the early stage of foundation building, which was equivalent to the early stage of a Xian-level warrior. However, his skills were at a higher level and he was absolutely invincible at the same level, even when he encountered mid-Xian level warriors. The power of a battle, moreover, he also has a higher level of magical cultivation. If he uses it, he can kill even those at the late Xian level. Thinking of this, he asked again, "What about the magic lineage? How is the situation?" Chapter 48 Han Shuai's Birthday Gift. You are listening at NovelsThe. Tang Tianyi said, "Nowadays, there are far fewer people who practice magic than those who practice martial arts. I don't know it specifically, I only know a general idea. Dharma practitioners are roughly divided into 4 levels, magic practitioners, real practitioners, magic masters and magic masters. In terms of strength, a magic cultivator is equivalent to a yellow-level warrior, a real cultivator is equivalent to a black-level warrior, a magic master is equivalent to an earth-level warrior, a magic master is equivalent to a heaven-level warrior, and I don't know what goes up. However, things are rare and valuable, and because of their scarcity, the status of practitioners is even higher. My benefactor, that's all I know." Yi Bufan nodded. Through Tang Tianyi's introduction, he already had a rough idea. The magicians on earth are equivalent to the beginners in the inheritance, the real practitioners are equivalent to the cultivation in the inheritance, the magic masters are equivalent to the enlightenment in the inheritance, and the magic masters are equivalent to the Tongxian in the inheritance. He has now reached the level of enlightenment, so he is called a master of magic by the old Taoist. Now he has a preliminary understanding of his own strength. There are many capable people in China, and there are many who are more powerful than himself, but in Jiangnan City, no one can pose a threat to him. At this moment, the mobile phone in his pocket rang. It was Han Shuai calling. "Third brother, where are you?" "I've already arrived at Weiyang, come here quickly." Yi Bufan looked at the time and found that it was already dark before he knew it. He said goodbye to Tang Tianyi and his son, then left the Tang family and rushed to Yi Weiyang KTV in Dongqing district. After he left, Ma Haidong also left, and the Tang family father and son returned to the study. Tang Tianyi sat on the Grand Master's chair and asked, "Fenger, how much did you pay Dr. Yi today?" Tang Feng said, "Father, I gave 10 million. Hearing this number, Tang Tianyi shook his head slightly. Tang Feng said in surprise, "What's wrong, father? Is there any problem? For a doctor, 1 million is already a sky-high medical fee. We gave 10 million, which should be a lot, right? Fenger, you are still a bit narrow-minded. 10 million is a lot, but it depends on which doctor you are dealing with." Tang Tianyi said, "Dr. Yi is a miracle doctor. He not only saved my old life, but also improved my cultivation. At the same time, he is also a Xian-level warrior. At just 20 years old, he was able to enter the Xian level and he was also a master of medicine. This ability was absolutely unmatched by anyone in the world, right?" This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. We, the Tang family, should try our best to make friends with such an expert. As long as Dr. Yi is willing, he can help you step into the Xuanjie anytime and anywhere. Tang Feng said, "Father, it was just to make friends with Dr. Yi that I took out 10 million. Otherwise, you are still far behind and your vision is too narrow. How could a master like Dr. Yi take money so seriously? Didn't you notice that he didn't even look at the check when he handed it over? Based on this alone, how can we make him look at our Tang family in a different light? This, father, I didn't think well. Do you think there is any way to remedy this?" Cold sweat broke out on Tang Feng's forehead as he spoke. If it really aroused Yi Bufan's dissatisfaction, then his hope of stepping into the Xuanjie threshold in the future would be in vain. For an expert like Dr. Yi, ordinary belongings will definitely have difficulty leaving an impression on him. Tang Tianyi said, "Well, if you drive the car out of the warehouse, complete all the procedures and send it to Dr. Yi, it can be regarded as an expression of the sincerity of our Yi family." Tang Feng's expression changed slightly and he said, "Father, isn't that car going to be sent to the provincial capital to make friends with the Gu family?" Tang Tianyi frowned and said, "How come you still can't tell which one is more important? Although the Gu family is a wealthy family in the provincial capital, it is also far away. At the critical moment, it cannot quench the thirst of our Tang family. You know how important Xian-level warriors are to our martial arts family. As long as Dr. Yi helps our Tang family upgrade 2 more Xian-level warriors, our Tang family will skyrocket, so as long as we can catch Dr. Yi, it won't be difficult to surpass the Gu family in the future." "I understand, father, I will do it now." After Tang Feng finished speaking, he left the study. Yi Bufan took a taxi and went directly to the door of Yi Weiyang KTV in Dongqing district. When he arrived, Han Shuai was already waiting there. His left hand was wrapped with a circle of gauze for some reason, and there was faint blood on it. Seeing Han Shuai wearing ordinary casual clothes, he couldn't help but ask in surprise, "Brother, aren't you here to express your love today? Why are you dressed so shabbily?" Han Shuai chuckled, "I didn't tell you Ting that she was a rich second generation, so naturally we should dress more low-key." Yi Bufan said, "Is this necessary? Telling people that you have a house, a car, and an 8-digit savings at home won't make it easier to chase girls," Han Shuai said with a coquettish look on his face. "The kind of pure love between me and you Ting has nothing to do with material things." This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Damn it, you must have watched too many TV series and your brain is damaged. Yi Bufan looked at the gauze on his hand again and asked, "What's going on?" "I made it when I was preparing a birthday present for you Ting," Han Shuai said as he took out a small box. When he opened it, there was a silver ring inside. Yi Bufan said, "You give this to someone on their birthday? A silver ring only costs a few dozen yuan. Are you too shabby? You are too shallow." Han Shuai glared at him with contempt, and then said, "This is not an ordinary silver ring, it was made by your brother himself, it has Yuding's name on it, as well as my blood. My hand was accidentally broken when polishing it, so this ring is priceless to Yuding." Yi Bufan said, "You are your own treasure. Many girls nowadays are very materialistic. My Yuding is not that kind of person. If Tao Wei hadn't always caused trouble, the two of us would have been lovers long ago. Yi Bufan said, have you figured out the situation of your love rival? Of course, you have to know yourself and the enemy to win every battle. That kid is a senior student at Jiangnan University. His father is in the wine agency business, and his family also has some money. He has used money to play with many female students before, but Yuding is not the kind of woman who loves money. Yi Bufan said, are you so confident? I have confidence, but I also need to be fully prepared. That's why I called you over to help me. Han Shuai said, let's go in quickly. We must go in before the rain stops. We can't be late. After saying that, the two of them walked towards Weiyang KTV together. As soon as they entered, a gangster not far away took out his mobile phone and made a call. Young Master Ma, I just saw that boy Yi Bufan entering Weiyang KTV with another person. Okay, I get it. Over the phone, Ma Wenba and Zhu Linlin were sitting in a box in the bar, drinking with a young man in his 30s. The man's hair was dyed bright and green, and there was a huge wolf head tattooed on his chest. At the moment, he was holding a gorgeous woman in his arms. Ma Wenba hung up the phone and said, Brother Lang, we have found that boy. As long as you destroy his 2 legs, 300,000 brothers will be worth every penny. Chapter 49 Weiyang KTV. You are listening at NovelsThe. Ever since he was thrown out of Jiangnan Hospital of Traditional Chinese Medicine that day, Ma Wenba had hated Yi Bufan so much that he spent 300,000 to find the gangster leader He Lang, preparing to take revenge on Yi Bufan. He Lang grabbed the red wine glass in front of him, took a sip and said, isn't he just a poor student? Tell me where he is, and I will take my brother over and destroy his legs now. We are at Weiyang KTV. Let's go there immediately and find him directly. Thinking that he could finally take revenge today, Ma Wenba looked excited. He Lang was a well-known gangster leader. According to legend, there was nothing he could do wrong. Zhu Linlin also said excitedly, I'm going too. I want to take a good look at how that kid knelt down and begged for mercy. She now hates Yi Bufan. This woman has a very strange psychology. It is obvious that she cheated on her, but she just feels that others are sorry for her. The two of them looked eager to give it a try, but He Lang's expression turned serious. Weiyang KTV, that's Ma Zhui's place, who dares to go there to cause trouble? Zhu Linlin asked. Brother Lang, are you even afraid of him? That she was not a member of the Taoist community, and she didn't know who Master Ma Zhou was. In her eyes, the man in front of her was already a very powerful person. He Lang glared at her fiercely. This woman was really big-breasted and brainless. She was just a gangster at best. How could she compare with Ma Zhui? He is a big leader in Dongqing district, and he can crush himself to death with just a move of his fingers, but of course he couldn't talk about such shameless things. He said, this is not a question of whether you are afraid or not. When you are on the road, you must follow the rules of the road. That is Ma Zhui's place, and I can't go in. Ma Wenba said, what should we do? He Lang said, okay, let's take people over and guard in front of the KTV now, and we can take action after the kid comes out. As long as we leave Ma Zhui's place, we can do whatever we want with him. Ma Wenba said, okay, let's go there now. We must not let him escape. Yi Bufan and Han Shuai walked into Weiyang KTV together. This place had just opened. All the decorations were brand new and looked extremely luxurious. It was his first time coming to such a high-end consumption place, and he would have been extremely nervous if he had been there before, but he is now the inheritor of ancient medicine. His vision and magnanimity are beyond the reach of ordinary people. Naturally, he will not put these worldly things aside. This chapter is not finished. Please turn the page. In the eyes, the two of them went straight to the platinum private room on the 2nd floor, where Shi Yuding's birthday was decided. Pushing open the door, 3 young people were already sitting on the leather sofa in the room, different from Han Shuai's ordinary dress. These 3 people are all wearing valuable suits and carrying hundreds of thousands of gold watches. Looking like this, they are afraid that others will not know that they are rich people. After seeing Yi Bufan and Han Shuai enter the door, the young man sitting in the middle stood up with a sneer. He was Tao Wei, Han Shuai's love rival today. Han Shuai, I really didn't expect you to dare to come today. Tao Wei stood up and looked at Han Shuai with a playful expression. Han Shuai said, "Today is Yuting's birthday. I am her boyfriend, so naturally I have to come." Yuting's boyfriend? I really don't know who gave you the courage to even say such things. Forget it, I won't care about a poor woman like you. After today, you will know who Yuting is. Woman. Tao Wei turned his gaze to Yi Bufan and said, "Did you ask for help? Why does it look poorer than you? Can't you find a rich person to support you?" At this time, another person next to him said, "Xiao Wei, aren't you being difficult? He is a poor man himself, surrounded by poor people. Where do you want him to find rich people?" Brother Su is right, birds of a feather flock together, and those who are poor will know poor people. Tao Wei looked at Han Shuai and said arrogantly, "Now let me show you the quality of my friends." He pointed back at the young man on the left and said, "This is young Master Niu Haotian. His father runs a 5-star hotel. Not only is he rich, but he also has friends in both black and white circles in Jiangnan City." He patted the shoulder of the young man who had just spoken again and said, "This is Mr. Yang Shuyang. His father is the subordinate of Mr. Su Yangshu, the leader of Xiqing district, and a well-known eldest brother on the road." The purpose of inviting these two people here today was to show off their identity and status, but unexpectedly, Yi Bufan burst out laughing just after the introduction. Tao Wei said angrily, "Boy, why are you laughing?" Yi Bufan said, "I'm really convinced by you. You seem to be very high-minded. To put it bluntly, one of them runs a restaurant and the other works as a pawn for the gangster leader. What's there to show off?" Hearing what he said, the expressions of the three people suddenly changed. Yang Su said angrily, "Boy, how can you talk? Believe it or not, I will ask my dad to call someone to beat him now. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page, break both of your legs." Han Shuai protected Yi Bufan behind him and shouted, "How dare you, this is my friend. What about your friends? These two poor bastards really think of themselves as characters." Yang Su said as he took out his cell phone and was about to make a call. Tao Wei quickly stopped him. "Brother Su, forget it, today is Yuting's birthday, let's teach this kid another day." Then he whispered, "Brother Su, this is Master Ma Jiu's territory." After hearing what he said, Yang Su put down his phone and said viciously, "Boy, if you have the guts, tell me your name." Yi Bufan grabbed Han Shuai and said, "My name is Yi Bufan. If you need anything, just come to me." Originally, he didn't like to cause trouble, but today was a matter between good brothers, so naturally he couldn't let the other person be arrogant. "Yi Bufan, right? I really don't understand how today's poor people dare to be so awesome. I really don't know where your courage comes from." The speaker was Niu Haotian. He took 2 steps forward and looked at Yi Bufan and Han Shuai. He curled his lips and said, "The clothes you two are wearing together are less than a few hundred yuan. You can't even buy one of our pockets. Come." Han Shuai said, "So what? Is having money a big deal?" "You're right, having money means being great." Niu Haotian said with great air, "Having money means that I can do whatever I want. I can eat whatever I want, wear whatever I want, and play with whichever woman I want. Only poor people like you can believe in love and comfort yourself with that illusory thing. How can there be a woman in this world who doesn't like money? I would rather cry in a BMW than laugh on a bicycle. With your virtue, you still dare to steal a woman from young Master Tao. Don't you think it's a virtue to look at yourself in the mirror?" Yang Su followed up and said, "That's right, poor people like you can only wait for us to throw out any woman when we have had enough. You can be a pick-up man, and then support her like a bodhisattva for the rest of your life. This is the fate of you poor people, you can only eat our leftovers and use the junk we have had enough of." Tao Wei said, "That's right. You don't have to think about robbing women from me. When I have enough fun, you can take them back and offer them to me. But don't worry, most women I've fucked won't take too long. Most of them will last only 10 days and a half. After saying that, the three of them laughed arrogantly together, with extremely arrogant expressions. Chapter 50 Money Can't Buy IQ. You are listening at NovelsThe. Han Shuai himself is also a rich second generation, but he never looks down on any poor person, otherwise he would not get along so well with Yi Bufan. Hearing these people mocking the poor and treating Yuding as a plaything, he was about to get angry. At this moment, Yi Bufan took his mobile phone and said, "Second brother, I just recorded this paragraph. You want to show it in public later? Wouldn't it be exciting to release?" After hearing what he said, the smiles of the three people stopped suddenly, and their expressions changed drastically, especially Tao Wei. He was immediately dumbfounded. It was okay for him to use his words to show off in private, but if he wanted to chase Yuding later, it would be completely useless if he said it in public. Niu Haotian and Yang Su obviously realized this, and the three of them shouted together, "Boy, delete the recording quickly." Yi Bufan held the phone and smiled. "You were so awesome just now, why are you scared now? You can delete it if you want me to, and apologize to my second brother." Tao Wei hesitated for a moment, and finally lowered his head and said to Han Shuai, "I'm sorry, I was wrong just now." Yi Bufan said to Niu Haotian and Yang Su, "There are you guys too. Boy, just wait for me." Although the two of them were so angry that they were gnashing their teeth, but this was Weiyang KTV and they did not dare to cause trouble, so they could only bow their heads and apologize to Han Shuai. Yi Bufan smiled and said, "Not bad, good attitude, quite sincere." Tao Wei shouted bitterly, "Can you delete the recording now?" Yi Bufan raised his phone and said, "Let's just say, money is a good thing, but it can't buy everything. For example, you three, you have money but you can't buy IQ. I'm just teasing you. I haven't even turned on my phone. When did I start recording? Boy, you dare to play tricks on me." The tall Yang Su said that he was about to step forward to take action, but was pulled back by Tao Wei. "Brother Su, don't worry. Let's make this kid look good after tonight." Yang Su snorted coldly, and the three of them ignored Yi Bufan and the others and turned to sit on the other side of the private room. Han Shuai put his arm around Yi Bufan's shoulders and laughed loudly. "Third brother, you are really the one who made these three boys act like grandsons. It really made me feel bad." On the other side, Niu Haotian said loudly, "Xiaowei, I heard that the minimum purchase price for a platinum private room at Yi Weiyang KTV is 10,000 yuan. You are generous enough. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page." Tao Wei immediately understood his companion's intention. He wanted to regain some of the face he had just lost. He cooperated and said, "This is nothing, isn't it just 10,000 yuan? It's a big amount for those poor people, but for us it's just the price of a drink." Yang Su followed up and said, "Being able to book a platinum private room here is not only possible if you have money, this is Ma Jui's place. Without some identity and status, you can't book a room at all. This is nothing. My dad and Master Ma Jio are friends, and my family is responsible for delivering the drinks for the entire KTV." He glanced at Yi Bufan and Han Shuai proudly. Being able to establish a relationship with Ma Jui was enough to become a source of pride. Niu Haotian said, "Master Ma Jio is my idol. I heard that he ranks first among the 4 major leaders in Jiangnan City and has hundreds of brothers under his command." Yang Su said, "That's right, Master Ma Jio is not an ordinary leader, he has an extremely powerful background behind him, and no one in black or white dares to provoke him. I heard that some time ago there was a businessman from out of town who relied on his official connections and did not give Ma Jui any face. As a result, his company went bankrupt within 3 days, and no one in the entire Jiangnan city dared to do business with him. This was Ma Jui's power. It is no exaggeration to say that every time Ma Jui sneezes, Jiangnan city will catch a cold." Tao Wei said, "I heard that Ma Jui himself is a master. When he was young, he defeated more than 100 people with his bare hands. From then on, he became famous in one battle." Yang Su said, "That's right, Ma Jui's skills are unfathomable, but he is now the leader of Jiangnan City and has not had to take action personally for many years. No matter what happens, just send one of your subordinates to solve it. Niu Haotian said, I heard from my dad that in the past 2 days, a reckless boy provoked Master Majio. Not only did he beat his men, but he also sent Brother Scar to the police. Isn't this looking for death? Really? Is there such a thing? Tao Wei asked differently, how is the boy doing now? Has he been stabbed 3 times and 6 times? Yang Su said, I heard from my dad about this matter. It's not that simple. I heard that the boy has some relationship with the eldest lady of the He family. In order to save the He family's face, Master Majio has not done anything in the past few days, but it is probably only temporary. No one can offend Majui without paying the price. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page, that kid will be useless in a few days. Hearing several people say this, Yi Bufan couldn't help but laugh again. This thing is quite interesting. He just taught Ma Jui's men a lesson a few days ago, and now he is sitting in his KTV drinking, Han Shuai said with a serious look, third brother, my father also said that this Ma Jui is definitely a big shot who cannot be offended. You must be careful when you encounter him in the future and don't provoke him. Yi Bufan smiled and said, he's just a gangster, there's nothing to be afraid of. The 2 people were talking when suddenly the door of the private room opened and 2 girls walked in. The girl walking in front was wearing a long white dress, with long hair shawl, and a delicate face. She looked like a princess from a fairy tale world. Although this girl is not as beautiful as He Shuang and Qin Chu Chu, she is definitely a beauty. There was another girl standing next to her. She was somewhat pretty originally, but she was wearing too much makeup and was wearing extremely revealing clothes. She looked more like a prostitute, and her temperament was much worse in comparison. Yuding, you're here. After the girl entered the door, Han Shuai and Tao Wei stood up and came forward to say hello. She was Shi Yuding, the object of Han Shuai's pursuit, and the other girl was her classmate and best friend Huang Xiaoli. Seeing everyone surrounding Shi Yuding like stars holding the moon, a jealous look flashed in Huang Xiaoli's eyes. She knew that Tao Wei was rich, so she dressed up and came here just to catch a rich man for herself. After everyone sat down, Tao Wei shouted, everyone, be quiet and listen to me, today is Yuting's birthday. I will personally host this birthday party. Let's move on to the first item, a gift to the birthday girl. After saying that, he turned to look at Han Shuai, aren't you here to celebrate Yuting's birthday? Take out the gift for everyone to see. Han Shuai glared at him, then took out the small box in his pocket and brought it to Shi Yuding, saying affectionately, Yuding, this is the gift I prepared for you, happy birthday. Huang Xiaoli shouted, Han Shuai, what is this? You are not giving Yuting a big diamond ring, are you? Tao Wei sneered and said, really? With Han Shuai's wealth, the diamond ring given to him must not be small. It should be at least 4 or 5 carats. We need to open our eyes.